Hello, my name is Greg Wolf, and this video will take you through the correct workflow for UpSpring. By watching this video, you will learn how easy it is to import an entire model via the 3ds model format, scale and otherwise perform basic setup, build model hierarchies, and then fix the model surface normals for correct behavior in the game engine. By the end of this video, you will see that it's really as simple as 1, 2, 3. At the end, you will have a model that is game ready and prepared properly. Our first step is to prepare the model for export. We select each part of the model and then select Rename in order to give each part of our model the proper piece name that we need to have in UpSpring. This is the piece name that we'll be carrying forward throughout the process. Then we save the model in the 3D Studio Max format. In this case, I'm saving it to the desktop. For our next step, we're going to go ahead and import a model file and set up its scale and its initial hierarchies. So first we're going to grab the 3D Studio format and we're going to select number 2 to bring it in without any hierarchy. Now we're going to go ahead and select everything in this model, okay, and just kind of take a look at the model, make sure that everything's A-OK and ready to go. Okay, once we've made sure that the model is exactly what we wanted, we are going to go ahead and set up the initial scaling. Okay, to do this, usually I go ahead and set it up by radius. Since 8 radius equals 1 footprint, we have an exact measurement of scale. In this case, we want it to be a 4x4 sized unit. So it's a little bit oversized, and we're going to rescale it now by selecting the head of our hierarchy. Okay, I've rescaled it here to 0.8, and you can see me going through and selecting each one of the dimensions, and now it's rescaled exactly to the size that we need it. Now we're going to save the model immediately and reload it immediately. Okay, the reason why we do this is to reset all of our data so that we are operating with everything zeroed out again. Okay, so we've reloaded the model. And as we can see, everything's reset back to 1. We don't have any funky scaling factors. And this is very important. So now we're going to set up our initial hierarchy. As you can see, I've cut everything out and I've put it into the body part. Okay, I've renamed the base file base. And now we're going to go ahead and set up our sub-hierarchies. Okay, we have 2 cover pieces, okay, and they're basically the parents of all the little mini pieces that are part of this. So I'm going to select all these pieces here, I'm going to cut them out, and I'm going to paste them in. Voila, we've got a hierarchy for one side built already. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do that for the other side, using shift-click in this case. And there we go. We have a complete hierarchy for the entire model built at this point. The model is now essentially game ready. And the only thing left to do is to go ahead and fix up the surface normals and make sure everything's right. So we're going to save it, and then we're going to reload it for the next step. For this step, I load up both textures before I begin. The reason why is it's easier to see small surface flaws in our welding. Okay, for example, we can look at the jet engine there, and it still has hard edges. Okay, this is a result of scaling the model up. We've lost the surface normal data. So we're going to go ahead and correct that. First, we're going to rebuild the surface normals. That welds everything together. We don't want to leave it that way. Then we're going to go ahead and fix it using the default setting in UpSpring. Okay, that is going to fix 99% of the errors that you're going to see. A 45-degree angle is usually correct. But there may be small flaws left. We're going to see one here in a second on the covers. Okay, we're going to turn it here, and there on the cover we have a welding error. Okay, we need to fix that so that it looks good in game. So we're going to rebuild it with a slightly higher, i.e. slightly more aggressive number for our welding angle. Okay, now we deselect it and look at it again, and look at that. The welding error is gone, and now it's nice and smoothly rounded as designed. Now, if we wanted to use a hard edge instead, we could simply use a smaller number. Smaller numbers mean that the braking angle is a little bit different. It's a little less aggressive, okay? And basically, at the end of using 15 instead of 55, we now have hard edges on that part of the model. Note that it doesn't affect the rest of the model at all. So we're going to go ahead and reset that back to 55 degrees. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. We have now imported a model from the 3D Studio Max format. We have completed building a hierarchy. We have completed rescaling it and fixing all the surface normals. This model is now game ready, and all we need to do is set up our rotational nulls so that we can prepare it for animation.